to the FanDuel Punch-Out. I'm Jason Gilbo, J Gilbo 11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J Clay. Taking a look at the 8-game slate here on FanDuel. You got Scherzer up top. You got Salazar. You got some really down low punt options. You can go at pitcher if you really want to pay up for any bet you want.
Yeah, Scherzer a little more reasonable here, but at the same time, obviously a little less cap. But yeah, no, I think the pay up options once again, that's what I'm going to be doing here, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm pretty excited about some of these value stacks, though.
Yeah, definitely. And jumping into the first game, it is Max Scherzer versus the Mets. One thing I'm looking here for is obviously not taking a look at the Mets against Scherzer, but still Bryce Harper under 4K, Murphy at 3,900. They're not quite the same value as DraftKings, but they're both really are still enticing top-end options.
Definitely solid. Definitely what you're looking for there. I mean, obviously, I don't think you play them alone. I think this Nationals offense goes one of two ways, which is I think they either go off or don't necessarily do much tonight. So I would go Murphy and Harper if I'm going to play one of them.
Yeah, I like those guys. I mean, I'm not really high on those price tags as far as worth goes. Or I don't mind a Wilson Ramos at 30K. That's a nice price tag for him. So overall, I think those are the kind of the three names that I'm really finding myself attracted to in this Nationals team.
Yeah, and definitely you're not stacking Mets tonight.
You know, I mean, the way Scherzer's giving up home runs, but
Dude,
no, I'm not.
James Loney has been swinging that bat. I don't know if he's been swinging it well, but he's been swinging that bat hard. He's been putting a lot of effort in. So I think you might come to regret doubting James Loney tonight.
You know, I'm sure someone's going to hit a homer off Scherzer. It's just happened in most of his starts this season. So I'm not going to be the one to try and find out who it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's at least a 3% chance James Loney is the guy tonight. So
moving on to Rangers and Yankees here, and Nick Martinez, Masahiro Tanaka. Obviously, I'm not really looking at the prices as far as these Texas guys against Tanaka. I think it's kind of a really, really, really deep GPP option at the most. I'm looking more so the Yankees side.
Yeah, I love the Yankees side. If Beltran's out of the lineup, that actually might alleviate some of the salary cap concerns you might have. When you look at Rodriguez, McCann, Teixeira, 3-1, 3-1, 3-0. So that kind of averages out the Ellsbury Gardner situation. So I love that. I love that stack. I think you can still pay up for Scherzer and fit those guys in, at least four of them, obviously.
Yeah, and you look at Martinez, I mean, against righties, I mean, 387 WOBA allowed, 1.51 home runs per nine. Lefties, very average still. I mean, still right around that 315 mark as far as WOBA allowed. So I like Starlin Castro if he slips up into the lineup. I mean, obviously, Beltran likely going to be out tonight, so I think you're kind of looking at someone moving up. It might be Teixeira, though. But if everyone bumps up a spot, Castro at 2.6 is an intriguing kind of spin down option at second base there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that call. But I will say, hey, Teixeira's been getting a little bit, getting it rolling a little bit I mean, he was obviously min priced those first 2 days almost, but still getting up there, but not expensive enough for me to like totally not touch him. So I'm okay with him at his price.
Yeah, I mean, 4 games back for him since the DL trip, 2 homers. You know, you look at that, I mean, decent option. And it's a decent matchup against Martinez there.
Yep.
So, Indians and Braves here, Danny Salazar versus Joe De La Cruz. And Indian side of things, I mean, expensive, but once again, I mean, they are a top offensive target. They continue to streak and hit the ball well. And once again, we talked about this on DraftKings, those back-end guys like Lonnie Chisenhall, Tyler Nyquist, Jose Ramirez can be in play just as much as Lindor and Kipnis can.
The Braves and Mets are the snakes and sparklers of this slate for hitters. That's a Joe Dirt reference. You're welcome. Yeah, obviously not touching the Braves tonight. Love Kipnis, expensive. Lindor, super expensive. But I'd be willing to pay up for it because I'm really in on this Indians lineup tonight. So definitely like that. Even the guys cheaper in the lineup. You're looking at Naquin. Chisenhall at 35.
I don't mind it.
I don't
I'm a
mind
Chisholm
it.
ball guy. Chisholm's always
Yeah.
hitting the ball well. I mean, I think those guys are at intriguing prices. Nickman's slipping up in the line or up into that salary, of course, but
Yeah.
it's expensive. But I do think they can kind of pay off those price tags.
Yeah, definitely. Not quite the value they were on DK, but they're all obviously in play either way.
Yeah, definitely. And moving over to the Dodgers and Brewers game here, Brock Stewart versus Junior Guerra. And once again, when we talked about the Dodgers offense, Turner 3-7 could be questionable tonight. Might not be in the lineup. Pedersen left the game as well, so Dodgers could lose a little bit of lust here.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we still like obviously Corey Seager and Chase Utley. I think that's strong. And then again, Adrian Gonzalez, decent value there. So I think that's what we're looking at here. I'd be okay with 2 or 3 Dodgers in a lineup tonight, at least for a tournament.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, you're looking at those values of some of those guys, and we talked about possibly, Puig sneaking up into a lineup at Trace Thompson as well at a pretty cheap price tag. So you could get those guys, as you mentioned with Gonzalez at a really low price tag to kind of fit in with the Scherzer type lineup. And in that ballpark against Guerrero, who's an average right hander, it's something that can definitely pay off.
Right. And like you mentioned, you're going to be able to pay up if you use some of these guys. So when you look at a Yankees stack or a Dodgers stack, I mean, it's still possible to get Salazar and Scherzer with those guys. So that's definitely some of the appeal there.
Yeah, definitely. And on the Brewer side of things, you are definitely liking them a little bit more than I am. I
Mhm.
think we kind of take different takes as far as how this game is going to play out. I'm a little bit more of a Brock Stewart fan. You think the Brewers are going to pay off. It's going to be one of those things where I think, it's going to be an either or situation.
One of those where hopefully I'm right, you know? Let's just throw us a bone here. Just one bone. It doesn't even need to be a good bone. It can be like a chicken bone. Um, so Chris Carter, I like him at his price. Villar maybe a little overpriced, but I think the 2 through 5 is a strong option here that isn't too expensive.
Yeah, I mean, the Braun price at 4.2 is intriguing. I don't mind Lucroy at all. Carter and Villar, I like some other guys in other spots a little bit more than them, but as you mentioned, I mean, you're kind of look at them as a possible stacking option.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking about this as an all or nothing type of deal as well. So I think it could be that type of situation here. So I think you want to get multiple in a lineup.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're kind of going, I think you do kind of go all in. I mean, the only guy who I can see using as a one-off is Braun or
Yeah.
Lucroy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Twins and White Sox, the next one here, and James Shields versus Ricky Nolasco. Big over-under here of 10. Great ballpark to hit in. Love these White Sox price tags again. Obviously burned by them against Gibson yesterday, but I'll be heading back to the well against a mediocre right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, I'm in. So Adam Eaton, fire him up. Tim Anderson, fire him up. Todd Frazier, fire him up. And of course, Jose Abreu. I love that 4-person stack.
And usually when you say fire up Todd Frazier, which isn't often, you truly mean you're going after Ricky Nolasco.
Oh, I wouldn't say going after. I would say literally pulverizing into the ground. He's gonna retire after this game.
Oof, bold statement, my friend.
Yeah.
But Nolasco, I mean,
He's gonna
average.
retire, come back, and retire again before his next start.
3.35 Wobo allowed to lefties for Nolasco. I mean, obviously that's Eaton, Melky Cabrera if he's in the lineup. Righties 352 Wobo allowed. So I really like the price tags. I like Abreu's price tags, and Abreu's the guy who I liked a lot. I'll take over Chris Carter at 3.8. There's a couple other guys at first base too, but as you mentioned, Anderson. Is his price tag stuck? I mean, 2,500 seems to be where he's been since the start. So hey, I don't care.
Can't knock it till it goes up. I'm taking it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Goodbye, Ricky.
And another name here, I mean, Adam Eaton, 3-3, a lot better value here on this slate than
Yes,
it is over on DraftKings.
much more reasonable here. And I mean, it shouldn't be reasonable because this is a good matchup for him. But if they're going to give us a deal, I'm in. He's cash considerable for me.
Yeah, definitely. And on the twin side, I mean, we talked about some lefties taking up against Shields. I mean, going back to last year, 384 Wobo, 1.97 home runs per nine. Can't keep the ball in the yard. Max Kepler is a guy who's really intriguing. Robbie Grossman as well. Eduardo Escobar, if he sneaks into the lineup somehow, would definitely be playable.
Yeah, definitely. Shields, as you mentioned, you kind of like him as a deep tournament guy on DK. But I think there's some decent upside with his Twins offense as well.
Deep is in the pits of hell deep.
Pits of hell, so like my pits a few days ago.
Could be. I don't know your lifestyle.
That smell. That was quite the smell. And then you know what?
Life really rough on you, man.
And then you take a shower and throw some deodorant on. No more pits of hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. A little Old Spice, a little premium sport Old Spice.
I'm a Dove for Men guy.
A what?
Dove for Men.
Dufferman?
Dove for Men.
Oh, Dove for Men. For deodorant?
Yeah.
Throw down in the comments what deodorant you use. I think Jason's a little weird for Dove for Men. Although maybe I have to try it out.
It's nice, man. It's a clean smell.
How's the swipe?
It's nice.
It dry?
I just feel like Old Spice is so grandpa-ish.
It's so grandpa-ish.
So when I'm out with the ladies, I don't want to smell like a grandpa.
It goes along with the old man smell, which is just you just got out of the sauna.
You smell like an old white towel.
Oh, that's what old people smell like. Yeah, like semi-clean laundry.
Like the pile that's somewhat clean, that's just
clean, but it's all wrinkled.
Yeah. It's a little damp.
Yeah, like there's a Fig Newton in there for some reason.
Royals and Cardinals are next one here, and Edison Volquez, Carlos Martinez. This game I'm not really too intrigued with. Matt Carpenter is an option for me at 3.9, but overall, for me, this kind of ranks really low as far as offense goes.
Yeah, Piscotty's a decent price for sort of how he's been doing this year, but obviously righty on righty isn't a perfect scenario. But again, Volquez isn't all that strong. So and I mean, I'm sure he's strong. I'm sure he can curl like 45s or something crazy, but in terms of pitching at this stage in his career, I'm going with Piscotty here as sort of a tournament guy for me.
Yep, the 3K price tag definitely makes him more playable than kind of like Matt Holliday or Moss or someone like that. So I'm with you. And I do think, I mean, Volquez struggles on the road, and I'm not particularly intrigued with the Royals offense against Martinez.
Yeah. I wonder, like, some of these guys have to be pretty weak, right? Like, I feel like not all MLB baseball pitchers are in great shape.
No, I mean, there's definitely guys that are scrawny, but
oh, compared to the average person, they're all strong. Yes.
But I'm just think about it, dude. That exit velocity off those bats are insane. In that you have to be strong.
Yeah, no, you're right. I wonder how much like John Lackey can curl right now.
John Lackey is all chicken fat and beer, my friend.
I'm thinking 35 curls is about his max. That's my guess.
It's light power. It's like mass for those pitchers.
Anyway.
Giants and A's this next one here. Sean Manaea versus Jake Peavy. Talk about this Giants side first. I mean, I don't mind some of those price tags. They do have some punts that could possibly work out. Some of those right-handed guys in the back end of the lineup. Posey is a guy who's overpriced for me on FanDuel 4K. I don't mind him on DraftKings because I do think paying out the second pitcher option could just kind of land you him.
Yeah, for sure. I do like Brandon Belt here. I think that's a pretty decent value. Even though he is overpriced, I still think that could pay off. And then I don't know. I guess Posey makes sense at 4K, but I always kind of like to pay down off him, I think.
Yeah, I think in FanDuel, if I have the spot, obviously I'll pay up to him if I have that extra cash.
Hmm.
But he's not necessarily a guy I'm trying to fit, and I think you have like guys like McCann and Vogue at better prices here.
Right.
So
And then Angel Pagan 2,900. That's decent value.
yeah, I don't mind him either. And these A's guys, I mean, they're cheap, and
Yeah.
you can go really balanced with them and kind of work them into lineups. And talked about Josh Reddick coming back, and that may be something that I'm a little bit worried about the 3, 4, 5, 6 guys now against PV.
The yeah, what a difference this makes your perspective about the A's versus PV. Because on DK, it's a little more like, huh, could PV do this? Yeah, like PV could shut them down in some way. But with these prices, I don't think it really matters. I think you just fire them off anyway. So go with Scherzer and go with an A stack and feel pretty comfortable with the rest of your lineup. You know.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an option here. I mean, all those guys, no one over 3,200.
Reddick, Valencia, Davis, Vaught cost 12 total. So I mean that's really solid.
Yeah, that's great math by you.
Thank you. I mean, I almost got tricked up because the
The 12
31
with
and the
2,9, I
29.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
but you figured that out. Yeah.
the old brain was working. There's a little smoke in the back there.
I think they're great options. I mean, we've used PV over the last few starts, but against poorer offenses, and obviously the A's are, you look at their WOBA, but I still think they're better than advertised. And obviously, we saw last night they can pop off at any time they want to.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously they've been doing that the last few days. But yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened than PV shutting them down, but I think they're decent enough value to take the risk.
I do too. So, moving on to the Pirates and Mariners side of things here, and we were talking about this one as possibly being a really high scoring late night game here,
Give
and
me Seager Cano.
yeah, yeah, and your typical duo there, and they're a little bit cheaper than what they've been in the past.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the new plan is replace Valencia with Cano or with Seager. Throw Cano in there, do the A stack with those two, and then roll into some winning tournament lineups.
Just that easy, huh?
Yeah, yeah, you just fire it in there, and then yeah, yeah, yeah.
You look at Talion, I mean, he's only a really high hard ball rate. I mean, 37% to lefties, 358 WOBA. Obviously, small sample size over 4 starts. You're looking at righties, often 37% hard ball rate, 2.25 home runs per nine, so 352 WOBA allowed.
Hmm.
Cruz obviously expensive, but certainly in play once again tonight. And once again, I think these Mariners guys, I think the back end guys cost some value. And obviously those Cano, Cruz, Seager, that trio there is, could really hit huge tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to like the prices around them, which are relatively cheap. So I think you can throw multiple sort of tournament punts at the end of this lineup and potentially hit big.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And on the Pirate side of things, I mean, Miley makes me interested in some of these right-handed bats for Pittsburgh. 334 WOBA allowed, average home run rate. So once again, the Pirates, because they've been struggling, and as you mentioned, these price tags are because they've been struggling. They come at a discount. There are some right-handed bats that I am intrigued with against an average lefty.
Jung Ho Kang.
4,300. I like that price tag.
Yeah, it's a nice little sneaky price there. McCutcheon too. Solid plays for them. I surprisingly like this late games much more on FD than I do on DK.
Yeah, I mean, I like them both ways. I mean, I think both are price tags as far as across these four teams. I mean, we talked about DK. That Mariners team is cheaper than we thought they were going to be.
For sure.
So I think really, I mean, those 4 teams in the late night all provide. I think the Giants are the less so of the four. So I do think you can kind of look at these options and feel pretty comfortable and rolling out a Scherzer and kind of get some West Coast guys there.
Definitely.
So that's going to wrap things up. Be sure to check us out. Let us know what kind of deodorant you wear because Russell's curious.
I am.
Um,
Throw it in that. Throw it in the comments on YouTube.
yeah, I mean, I'm a Duffer Man guy. You are a wet towel, Old Spice type guy,
Yeah.
hitting at the Russian
This
saunas.
is an important distinction to make.
That's going to wrap things up with the FanDuel Punch Out. Be sure to check out DaveFantasyCafe.com for all our great tools and content.